Anyway, salutations, people. I'm your friendly neighborhood Let's Player SpiderMwa. Welcome you back to Gabriel Night 3. As we left off, Grace found a lot of stuff about the treasure, but the Gabriel doesn't give a fuck because he's got priorities, pretty much. We've got some conversations coming up, so I'm not going to be commentating that much because we're going to be watching a long cutscene. So let's get to it.
What's up?
Just a minute, Gracie. Why don't you take a seat?
We got our usual suspects, except mostly.
All right. Fun time's over.
There he
I
is.
want to know what's going on, and I want to know now.
Don't we all?
I have no idea what you mean.
Nor I.
Then let me give you a clue. Earlier today, I had a certain unpublished manuscript in my room. Someone took that manuscript, and that someone was...
And now we get to choose who it was. It's kind of obvious. If you do remember the order of how you saw the people, it's easy to guess. Not just guess, it's easy to know and just say it out loud. Stuff. You know what I mean.
Mosley. Shortly afterwards, it was stolen from the first thief by
Madeline.
Madeline Bouthane. The second thief couldn't hold on to it either. It was stolen for the third time by
Signore Buccelli.
Vittorio Buccelli.
Alright, so Gabriel says
And the
Buccelli.
third thief disposed of it by...
Burning it, selling it, how about burying it?
burying it.
Really?
Yep.
But this is slanderous. You cannot prove a word.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. He can prove it. Every one of you left prints.
Santa Cielo.
Merde.
I admit it. I did take the
Language.
manuscript.
Yep.
But I didn't do it for my own personal gain or anything.
Then why?
I'm CIA.
What is CIA doing here?
That explains it.
Outrageous!
God, Mose. Congrats.
Thanks.
Why would a CIA...
Mademoiselle Bouthane, what's your excuse?
I do not know what you mean.
Don't you? Let's consider the fact that you have way too much equipment for a tour guide.
That she
I'm
does.
Technically minded.
And lethal. My guess is French Internal Secret Service.
You
You're
are
get-
much too smart for your own.
Your jig
good.
is up, just
oh,
give up
and you,
the
signore?
facade.
Or should I call you father?
It is not illegal for a priest to travel without a collar.
Oh,
No,
but
it's
you're
not.
not just a priest, are you? You came on a train from Rome, yet you lied. You said it was Naples. Why tell such a pointless fabrication unless you were hiding something? Like the fact that you're with the Vatican.
They're all
That
hiding.
is not a crime either.
But stealing manuscripts is.
Perhaps it is time for you to reveal your secrets, Gabriel.
Shut
Sure.
me again.
I'm a private investigator. I'm here about the kidnapping of Prince James of Albany's infant son.
James Stewart's son has been kidnapped?
When did this happen?
You really didn't know? Either of you?
No.
Certamente no. I came only to report on any activity in the area. The Vatican feels that there are certain subversive parties who are trying to fabricate stories.
Interesting.
Perhaps even go so far as to stage certain finds. Plant material.
Ooh.
Naturally, the church is anxious that anything of the sort be prevented and exposed.
Perhaps you are right, Signore. But we believe that there is something buried near Rennes-le-Château.
That's
Do
why
tell.
you were given this assignment?
I have been watching Rennes-le-Château for a few years now.
Cool.
There are certain political interests involved.
Of course.
Interests which might not be working for the long-term stability of the present French government.
I
Besides,
see.
if there is an archaeological discovery to be made here, such findings should be controlled by the French authorities. We want to make sure nothing gets smuggled out without our knowing.
Of
I thought
course.
you needed excavation permits to do any serious digging.
Hypothetically, but several parties have applied for permits. We can only deny them for so long.
Mose?
The CIA thinks there's something going on over here with the Freemasons, the Priory, and the Knights of Malta. You name it.
That's why you knew about the
We have to make
Freemasons.
sure our interests are being protected. You know, the good old US of A.
Of course.
They sent me on a tour as a kind of an audition, I guess. They didn't want anybody with legit CIA credentials. You know, anyone who could be traced. But I'll probably be starting full-time when I get back.
Smart.
And the digging, monsieur?
Oh, intelligence got that tip from somewhere. I was just supposed to, check it out.
So it was the CIA who infiltrated our computer system. We thought it was the Priori.
So that's why you two met up.
It is not the first theory we have had, I am afraid. Our cipher experts work on it when they can. And it appears this was another failed attempt. Right, monsieur?
I sure didn't find anything.
And now we can go, yes?
Sure.
I assume you have not found your kidnapper among us?
Doesn't look it.
Yeah, your guys are innocent, at least on the kidnapping part. But you are guilty on some
were
other parts.
Very masterful. But, you have not gotten everything from me yet. Perhaps you should come by my room and try a little harder,
Man, she really needs to give up that whole facade of being the femme
I always
fatale.
thought the idea of chastity belts was cruel and sexist. I finally get it.
I
Zing.
doubt they invented one strong enough for Madeline. Thanks for
Bird.
finding the manuscript. Where was it?
Bukele buried it out in the valley. I saw his moped from Blanchford.
Good job, Grace. As usual.
Prince James is at the Villa Bethania. He wants to see you.
I bet.
And there's some real progress on the treasure. With Sydney, I was able to...
I'll, come up later, okay?
He doesn't care, Grace.
Suit yourself.
He just doesn't care. But you should know that it's all connected together here, Gabriel. You should give a flying a little bit of for Grace and her work. I mean, you praised her for doing a good job there, but still, you shouldn't really pay attention to her when she's talking about that stuff. But first, let's take a cup of coffee. Alright, so we have been talking to a lot of people here and found out about stuff. And apparently we have the manuscript again.
Larry has quite a fan base. He sure had enough people dying to read this.
I wonder why. Oh yeah, because everybody's interested in that stuff. So... the thought plickens, as they say. Anybody here? Nope. Anybody else upstairs? Just walking around? And that's Bukele's room. It's Lady Howard and Estelle. This is Madeline's.
Yeah, I'm tempted. But if I go in there, I wouldn't be coming out for quite a while. I've got more important things to take care of.
You sex hound, you, Gabriel.
Should I see if I'm in?
Maybe. Let's go talk to Grace before we go and meet up with Prince Stewart. We got to get some new insight out of Grace. Well, let's talk about the case then.
Can we talk about the case for a minute?
Of course.
I've been thinking about our list of suspects. Larry and Prince James are Freemasons.
Uh-huh.
The Abbé is Priory. I think
Definitely.
we can cross them off.
Yep.
Right. Bukele is Vatican, Madeline is French Internal Secret Service, and Mosley is, God help us, CIA.
Yeah, makes you think about renouncing your U.S. citizenship, doesn't it?
I've
Hey,
survived
come on.
Gingrich, I can survive this. But anyway, it's starting to feel like the end of 10 Little Indians. There's hardly anybody left.
Yeah.
There's still Emilio and the two British gals.
Don't forget the
Come on,
outside
they're
people.
Harmless. Well, okay, they're not exactly harmless, from a sociological standpoint, but they are certainly not kidnappers.
I'd say so.
There's also Montreux.
Yep.
I deciphered Le Serpent Rouge, and it showed a red serpent on the map, with its tail wrapping right around Chateau de Serres. It really... well, it's pretty creepy.
I agree. He's our best suspect at the moment.
Uh-huh.
I'll go check out Sarah's again. In the meantime, you keep an eye on Emilio, Lady Howard, and Estelle.
All right, but be careful.
So, about last night?
I need to decide what it is I want to have happen before I talk to her about it.
Okay.
I don't want to screw up again.
Oh, trust me, we know you, Gabriel. You'll screw up. I'm sure of it. I mean, it's Gabriel. He doesn't believe in love. He doesn't believe in the marriage thing. He only just porks women because he can. He's a man. He's a douche. Especially when it comes to Grace, he's the biggest douche ever.
You've made some progress with Sydney, you said?
Yeah,
Lots
I did.
of it.
Several times.
Well, what'd you find out?
Oh, lots of stuff you probably don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
But it did help me find an entrance to an underground cave. I think Wilkes was onto it before he died.
That does sound promising. Maybe we can go over it later. I have a few last things I want to do first.
Sure.
Yeah, like we need to talk to Stuart. And maybe talk with Madeline. Possibly talk with Mosley. And also, yeah, check out Montreux again.
I've done enough talking to my old pal lately.
Alright. No talking to him then. Out we go and talk to Prince James of the Steerers. Is Abbe Arnaud up there in the tower? He actually is. I forgot that Larry Sinclair is also here visiting.
Larry's here.
So we're gonna have a big chat with everybody. But first I want to go and check up on Abbe Arnaud, because we haven't seen him in a long time. We'll just have to see what he has to say about this whole Freemasons, Priory and such. I mean, everybody's out in the open now on who's what and where. Who's who and what's what.
Excuse me, Mr. Arnaud.
That is Abbe Arnaud, not just Monsieur.
Hello, Mr. Knight.
Oh, that's certainly a sign when he talks like that he's not happy to see Gabriel.
I've been meaning to ask you something.
And what is that?
I've been meaning to ask you about your association with the Priory of Sion.
Where did you hear such a thing?
Prince James's men? See, I'm working for Prince James. I came here to see about the kidnapping myself.
I see. Well, I'm not really surprised, though I would have expected more polish from Prince James's agents. Ce n'est pas d'importance. You will learn nothing from me. The Priory would never stoop to kidnapping a child.
And tell me, what sort of things would the Priory stoop to?
Murder?
I have nothing to say to you about the Priory, Mr. Knight. But whatever you hear from Prince James, remember, it is their side of the story.
Wow. You are butthurt about all of this. That you have been accused of kidnapping the child. You really need to let go, man. Just really need to let go.
The Priory is trying to get official permission to excavate in the area, isn't that right?
Yes, but so are the Freemasons.
So is everybody
Naturally,
else.
We have an advantage being French.
Uh-huh.
And what exactly are you planning to excavate?
Far more learned ears than yours have been denied that knowledge.
Really? Including yours? Have they told you what it is?
Really? Quel toupet.
I get the feeling that they haven't told him exactly what it is. But maybe they have told him where the location is and he needs to excavate at. Although I'm sure he's not gonna do the excavation himself. He's more of a supervisor type of a character. I mean, he's a priest. He supervises and listens.
Excelsior Montreux, the owner of Chateau de Serres. Is he a Priory member too?
Not at all. Why?
Oh, just wondering.
Yeah. Excelsior Montreux is pretty much the biggest mystery of the whole place right now. Next to Emilio Bazza, because we don't know what he is about. Is he Priory, Freemason, Illuminati? You name it. Put your theory about Emilio Bazza in the comments.
The Priory does have issues with Prince James, though, doesn't it? Political issues?
What could you understand about such matters?
We're just
we have
asking.
been working for centuries to get the bloodline on the throne of France.
We're just
Do
asking.
You know, we almost succeeded. Marie Antoinette was Desposny, and she had a son who would have been king. But the damned revolution ruined everything.
Yeah, revolutions can really fuck up your long-term conspiracies.
Yep.
I take it the Priory doesn't like the idea of the Stuarts regaining power.
Totally
in
not.
Scotland, perhaps. Not in France. Not over the European Union. The Habsburg-Lorraines are a much more critical line. Besides, we could hardly accept a Scot on the throne.
I see your point. Oh, those bagpipes can get annoying.
Well, I mean, bagpipes are not that annoying. They're very noisy, though. But they're not, like, super annoying. Especially if the player is very skillful with them. And also, are you still a little bit butthurt? I mean, we heard that Prince James is not really interested in the throne. At least not that much. So you're safe about the Scot being on the throne.
So there really is a treasure?
Beyond measure.
Well, so why don't you just go in and take it?
The Templars lived a long time ago.
You don't know where it is, do you?
No, he doesn't.
There are certain disadvantages to keeping information in the hands of a chosen few. When the French Revolution occurred, the Abbé here was the guardian. He was forced to flee to Spain. His records were lost for decades. Then Saunier rediscovered them. He was a greedy bastard, and he was tormented by the Great Secret.
So that's
He
how
offered
he...
fragments of the documents for exorbitant sums. He fabricated and destroyed evidence, and died without revealing what he knew.
That's why you've leaked information, isn't it? You hoped someone would solve the riddle for you.
There is a season for everything, and the season for the unveiling is coming very soon.
Yeah, we're
One
close
way
to
or
the end of the
another,
game.
The treasure will come to light.
It will.
What is it you're so determined to unveil?
One day soon, you shall know. Now excuse me, Mr. Knight. Oh, and I do wish you luck in finding the infant.
You have some issues, Arno. Big issues about stuff. Well, we are close to the end of the game, so in the game's timeline, in a couple of hours, we will find out a lot of stuff. Especially what the whole treasure is about and everything. It'll just take a little while. Not too long of a while, but it'll take a while. So, Prince James, we're here. What you got?
I do appreciate your returning the manuscript, Mr. Knight.
If I'd known what Mr. Sinclair here was up to, I wouldn't have taken it in the first place.
Well,
Still
what's
butthurt?
done is done. But I think it's time we had a serious conversation.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
I do agree. Now that we have all of the information that we need, let's start talking.
Do you consider yourself to be a bloodline descendant, Prince James?
Well, it may sound foolish to you, but a belief in our lineage and the responsibility that it brings has been the motivation behind everything the Stuarts have done for centuries. You see, we take our heritage very seriously.
Well, it seems like it. So what about this manuscript then?
So, you think the kidnapping is a response to Sinclair's manuscript, to its positioning you as the head of the bloodline?
Yeah.
It's not just the manuscript, but yes.
Yeah, it's
Have
the
you received any demands from the kidnappers, or...?
It's the
No.
bloodline itself.
Look, I'm
not
willing
just
to give
manuscript.
up my claim forever if that's what they want, as long as my son is safe. But we don't even know
Understandable.
who to contact to make such a concession. The Priory swears they're not responsible, and no one else has come forward.
Huh.
My God, I'm at the end of my rope.
Yeah, I could...
Perhaps it's not political.
I
Yeah.
let myself even consider that it might be the night visitors. I can't imagine what they would want with...
I'm sorry. I know how awful this is.
I mean, if it's not political or anything, it's just some kind of a personal gain that they want with the baby. It is... well, they are vampires. We have figured that out with the Gabriel Schattenjäger powers. So it would pretty much seem that they want the baby for its blood. And it is a royal blood, so it has some kind of a... some kind of an annotation that the royal blood is much more important to them than just normal human blood. Although they have killed 3 people already and gathered all of their blood, but there's something special about the blood of a royalty, a descendant of the Despacini, that pretty much the dream that Gabriel had about the unicorn and the night visitors drinking the blood of the unicorn. It is said that the blood of the unicorn can give you eternal life, but it also curses you. So it's one of those tales that somebody drank the blood of the unicorn and they became cursed like a vampire or something. It's one of those tales of mythology and such.
What are these negotiations between the Freemasons and the Priory about?
Good question.
Because of our common heritage, there's certain wisdom and property that's shared. And now that the dispute over the bloodline heir is coming to a head, these things must be settled.
At least it's not coming to a butt. I'll see myself out afterwards. So, excavations?
You're trying to get permits to excavate out here, aren't you?
I don't know where you heard such a thing. But I admit we have been hedging our bets, in case negotiations go badly.
So if negotiations don't go well, everybody's just going to start excavating everywhere around this area. That's not a smart thing to do. You're going to get into a lot of political trouble with that. And I do mean everybody's going to be in trouble. It's going to be a war, a political war between all the Freemasons, Priory, James. They should really think about this first before they start doing anything rash.
What kind of property do the Freemasons have?
We have a few of the treasures that have always been sacred to the descendants of Moses.
Like what? The Ark of the Covenant? Something like that?
Now, USA has that.
But the bloodline treasures are dispersed. Whoever takes the mantle, in the end, will want them. All of them.
Why would they want all of them? Just to gain the ultimate power? I think I just answered that myself.
What about the Priory? What do they have that you want?
The Priory controls the treasure the Templars couldn't take with them to Scotland because it was embedded in the very landscape.
The treasure of Rennes-le-Château?
Yes, but they're not to touch it until we've agreed on a treaty. You see, we have things they want too.
So there's going to be a trade, an exchange for your treasures that you have, and their. I think what he's talking about that they have a claim over is the hole in the ground that Grace found and Wilkes found. Fascinating.
Does the grapevine motif mean anything to you? Viticulture in general?
Yes. The wine of communion represents the blood of Jesus, and the grape represents his body. And the grapevine, in some circles, represents the Desposini, the house of David. You have heard Jesus called the fruit of David, I assume?
Of course.
Where did you see such a motif, Mr. Knight?
Montreux.
Oh, it's in the church.
What about my son, Mr. Knight? I'm willing to tell you certain things, but please, have you learned anything new?
I've narrowed it down to a few suspects. In fact, I was going to follow up on that right now.
Very well. Mesme and I will continue our own efforts.
You do
we'll
that.
See you back here this evening, then.
Absolutely. And, try not to worry.
I do appreciate your tenaciousness, Mr.
Don't
Knight.
worry, be happy.
Yeah? I've had shots for that, but never mind. I'll see you.
What an extraordinary man.
Yeah, that's what Gabriel sure is. Tenacity had the shots for that. Nice punchline there, Gabriel. Well, yeah, we need to go to talk to Excelsior Montreux. But we'll do that next time. So thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I hope you all have a good evening, good afternoon, and a good morning, and I will see you later next time. Take care, people. Bye.